Hello to all of you from around the world. I want to welcome you again to another great edition of SOULIVITY Today, broadcasting live from our studio right here in the nation's capital and in Washington on KBED 1490 AM radio in Southern California. My name is Brian Wesley Johnson, and we have a great show today. Um, this week has been absolutely crazy, y'all. And I know that of you who are living here in the United States probably caught some of the latest information coming from here in Washington, D.C., around the impeachment trial of President Biden. Um, Wild story. Um, and I mean, we're going to be talking about this. And so I just wanted to make sure that on the opening of today's show, that I invited you to make sure that you tune in for our next show, because we have a very special guest for that next show. And that next guest is Asha Rangappa, who is the Associate Dean of Yale University's Jackson School of Global Affairs. She's going to be with us on our next show, talking about all things legal that are happening in the world, because there's a whole lot of different things that are happening, from this impeachment trial to the latest with Senator Bob Menendez here, who is in a bribery case, to the things with Hunter Biden, and so on and so on and so on and so on. So there's a lot happening in the world. We wanted to make sure that we brought this to you, but with a different twist, to make sure that we're giving you information from a legal expert who we know we can trust. Asha has been somebody who I've been following for a long time, and she always has fantastic information, great insight, and some other kinds of things where you might not have thought about when you're thinking of these cases. So I'm just glad that she's going to be with us on Monday. So make sure you stay tuned for that. We have a co-host today who is Teresa Greco, just waiting for her to get on. I'm sure she's going to be on a little bit later. But let's get into today's show, because today is our Hot Topic show, where we bring you great news stories from around the world that you may not have seen elsewhere. You know, here at SOULIVITY, it's important for us to, break the norms and give you information that empowers you from different perspectives. And so this is all about, having you learn how to get empowered, to live your passion, your purpose, and create a high quality life today. So let's get started. Listen, our first story comes from Hollywood, California, where the 148-day writer's strike, the second longest in Writers Guild history, has been called to an end. I know that a lot of people who are friends of mine out in California have been affected by this. It has been horrific for them. People have come close or have lost their homes and other things. So I'm glad that we're talking about this today. But here's all the details from The Hollywood Reporter.
The 148-day writer's strike, the second longest in Writers Guild of America history, has been called to an end. The strike concluded at midnight on Wednesday thanks to a vote from Guild leadership that authorized members to return to work after the tentative agreement the union reached with studios and streamers on Sunday night. The WGA negotiating committee lifted the restraining order, saying this allows writers to return to work during the ratification process, but does not affect the membership's right to make a final determination on contract approval. The end of the strike doesn't mean that the tentative agreement is a sure thing. Union members still need to vote to ratify the contract, which will take place between October 2nd and October 9th. The news brings to an end one half of a double strike not seen in over 60 years in Hollywood. SAG-AFTRA still remains out on strike, and neither that union nor the AMPTP have announced any new bargaining dates for the parties yet. For more details on this story, head to thr.com. And for the latest entertainment news and updates, keep watching the Hollywood Reporter News.
Now, the exact language of the contract is still yet to be released. But from the WGA summary, it appears the union was successful in its effort to get a fantastic deal. The MOA, or Memorandum of Agreement, includes increases to the minimum wage and compensation, increased pension and health fund rates, improvements to terms for length of employment, and the size of writing teams, which has been drastically shrinking over the recent years, and better residuals, which are like royalties to them, which it also includes foreign streaming residuals. The MOA also lays out the terms for artificial intelligence with an agreement that does not prevent writers or productions from making use of generative AI, but prohibits use of software to reduce or eliminate writers and their pay. They say a writer can choose to use AI when performing writing services if the company consents and provided that the writer follows applicable company policies, but the company can't require the writer to use AI software, things like GPT, when performing writing services. You know, guys, this is such a really big deal. I know in SOULIVITY's realm, when we're using AI in terms of different content kinds of things, that it's important that we go through an editing process to make sure that we're not, plagiarizing someone else's material, as well as is that the content itself rises to our editorial standards. With the Writers Guild, in terms of all the different things that are happening with them and the advent of AI technology, which allows this explosion of I would say creation of content, not necessarily creativity, but creation of content. The writers really had to push hard to protect themselves, because when you think about it this way, there's literally hundreds of thousands of screenplays and other things like books that have been turned into films that are available, that are relatively available out here. AI can take all of that information in and turn it into certain scripts and that kind of thing in a flip of a switch. Um, who owns that material, right? Which was always the question, especially if it's an amalgamation of all these different screenplays, and how do you track all that? So this is a big, 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 big win for the Writers Guild. Also, we had a show earlier about healthcare, specifically as it revolves around people who are in the television and film industries. It was something like almost 90% or something like that of people who are in the industry don't have regular health care because it's not part of the original contract. So them having health care now and it being, or healthcare rates that are probably more affordable is a big deal, because most of the people who are working in the industry, I think, make something like less than $36,000 a year. And again, we did a show on this with D'Angelo Thompson, who's a award-winning makeup and hair person who's in the industry, who knows about all this. It's a sad state of affairs because most people just don't know that a lot of the people who are in the industry just don't make the astronomical amounts of money that celebrities do. So great win. Again, we'll keep on this because, again, the Writers Guild themselves have to vote to ratify the contract itself. But as it seems now, there seems to be momentum for this strike to be completely over. And then things will turn to the Screen Actors Guild, where we're talking about their contract, which has to do with a lot of the same things with AI when it comes to their likenesses. Can the film industry create an amalgamation character using AI of people's different faces and create a whole nother film that is completely, animated from that. So, and also healthcare, and other things that revolve around it. So, great news for the Screen Actors Guilds. Great news for the industry as a whole. Again, we'll keep on this and let you know what's happening in the near future. Stay right here with SOULIVITY, because we're going to be talking about this and give you information that you may not have seen in other places. So, listen, we're going to take a quick break. We've got even more of our Hot Topics Friday coming up right here on SOULIVITY today. So stick tight. We'll be back in a couple of minutes. SOULIVITY Today is brought to you by Happy Travelers Tours and Old Vine Wine Tours. Find all of the Satana products at our Go shop at go.soulivity.com.
Have you ever asked the question, if I was to be anything, what would I be? Regardless of money, regardless of status, beyond popularity and fame, living your passion, feeling your life has purpose. SOULIVITY is a space to nurture that which lives in all of us, a place where work can become play, and doing what we love creates the dreams of a lifetime.
Hey there, we're back here with more of SOULIVITY Today. Again, today is our Hot Topics show where we bring you great news stories from around the world that you may not have seen elsewhere. Now, listen, I don't know about you, but when I was growing up, I had different pets. I can remember probably about 3 or 4 dogs. Two that I remember really clearly is we had a sheepdog named Spot, he was so crazy, more of an outside dog. And then we had a mutt who was just beautiful, named Buffy. And I don't know if you guys remember the show Family Affair, and there was a character named Buffy, so I named my dog after that character. Had a turtle named Frankie, and a parakeet named Alberto. Oh, Alberto, I miss Alberto so much. But listen, all of us probably have different stories around pets that we've had over the years. Some of you may not have had a pet, but maybe you've aspired to have one and that kind of thing. But listen, you'll love this next story coming from across the pond in the town of Maidstone, Kent, where 56-year-old Dave Brooker has proven that cats, dogs, and other animals aren't the only pets people can love. Here's more from SWNS.
My name's Dave. This is T2, Trouble version 2, who imprinted on me as a chick. I didn't take a lot of persuading to keep her, to be honest though. And she's just become a really big part of my life. Apart from work, she goes everywhere with me. She rides around in the car, goes shopping, so she waits in the car for me. and enjoys getting out the car and eating Scotch egg, much to the amusement of a lot of people. And she's brilliant at breaking down barriers. You speak to people you would never speak to before. Most people were just absolutely amazed, but a lot of people say, I don't think I could ever eat turkey again. I've got a few turkeys, I keep them just for their eggs. And normally I try and keep a couple of eggs in the car so that I can give them to people to try. Mum was sitting on 12 eggs and the first 2 hatched, but unfortunately the chicks got wet, got cold. It must have happened in very early hours of the morning. They perished, so I set up a brooder with a heat lamp. She was the first one out. All the other chicks survived, managed to keep all the other 10, all the 10 chicks alive. All the other 9 went back under the mum, but this one kept coming back out to me. And without a lot of persuading, I sort of kept her and then put her back in the brooder and started taking her home. And the adventure started there. Brilliant entertainment, sometimes annoying. She'll peck your ankles. She's got her routines, like the things she likes. She's clever enough to know when to get out the car and when not to get out the car, like at different places we go. She recognises where we are. I think if people could realise how intelligent animals are, you know, not just turkeys, but her definitely, but maybe we could treat them a little bit better, with more respect sometimes, and not just look at them as a dinner. I know I still eat meat, but it has changed my opinion of things. The brilliant thing is the joy she brings to people, you know, that do see her, you know, from children that have never seen an animal. I love the bit that she can just make people smile, and I think that's the most special thing about her, you know. And whereas a dog will be good for some people and a cat will be good for other people, but I do think that the bond you can get with different animals, if you treat them well and whatever, is fantastic. So yeah, certainly underrated as an animal that you can, you know, bond with.
Oh, I love that story. I really, 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 really do. Loving the fact that Dave Brooker and T2 are just a great inseparable pair. I know some of you, I've talked about our pet Minnie back in the day on our shows. She passed a few months ago, and you know, there's always goodness that you get from having a pet like that for a long term. We had Minnie for like 14 years. And so, you know, miss her, probably going to get another pet. But this story just reminds us that there's so much to enjoy. There's so much love that we can share with animals. I encourage each one of you that even if you don't have a pet, get out in nature and be part of that space and that experience where you're hearing the birds chirp, you're maybe seeing some squirrels kind of run around, because there is definitely something special and a special connection that all of us need to know that there's more to this world than just what we're seeing through our day-to-day kind of thing, that we expand and we grow and we get out of our comfort zone and experience all the different areas of life that we can possibly imagine. So listen, we're going to take another quick break, but we got even more Soulivity Today coming up, especially more hot topics. And so we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back in just a little bit.
6 years ago, when I started Soulivity, my vision was to support everyone in improving their life through the discovery of their passion and purpose, so they could become the best version of themselves, to battle fear and ignorance, and create a better world today. Get inspired to live your passion and purpose. Visit soulivity.com now.
Do you see me kneeling on this dual roller called Parasetter? It's actually comfortable because of this channel and the softness of the special foam. It feels like my kneecaps are being massaged. When I lie down, my spine is housed in this channel, while the convex rollers massage my muscles. They let go and lengthen. There's a traction effect from my head on the headrest and my mid-back from the rib wrap, which hugs me. When I start the breathing sequence, I feel calm because my cortisol levels are dropping. Lower cortisol means bye-bye constant hunger. Parasetter is 40 inches long and much more comfortable than old-style rollers, but it weighs only 10 ounces. Parasetter, just like Pilates was, is no longer an insider secret. Do yourself a favor. Reset your parasympathetic nervous system. Defeat stress. Lying, sitting, kneeling, or standing. This unique patented roller helps everyone.
Hi there, this is Brian with SOULIVITY.com. I want to share some exciting news about our new Aspire Academy by SOULIVITY. Now, you probably want to know what the Aspire Academy by SOULIVITY is. Well, it exclusively connects you with people around the globe and who share the intense desire to improve themselves and create a better life for themselves today. There's classes, there's workshops, there's live events, and even more exclusively just for you. You see, I wanted you to have a safe space where you could grow, you can learn, and it would empower you in all aspects of your life, including your mind, your body, and your soul. So how do you get started? Well, it is so easy. First of all, the best part, joining Aspire Academy is absolutely free. Just click on the Join Now button, sign up, and begin your journey. As a special part of this invitation to you, there are some free courses that are available for you to try from our amazing roster of coaches and collaborators. It's our way of saying thank you for all of your support and being with us along our journey of expansion. I hope you enjoyed the Aspire Academy by SOULIVITY today. Start the process. Learn more about your passion, your purpose, and how to live a higher quality life. Hey there, we're back here with more with SOULIVITY today. Again, I am joined now by my very special co-host, Teresa Greco, who is the host of the Steps to Happiness show. Hey, Teresa.
Good morning, Brian, and everybody. Good morning.
Good morning. Darn alarm clocks. They need to be intuitive. Right? They really need to be intuitive, like intuitive alarm clocks. Oh, my person really needs to get up. Okay, well, I'm going to set an alarm that's like appropriate.
Yeah.
But we're glad you're here. Because, Teresa, we talk about this all the time where we talk about like all the news stories that SOULIVITY does and that we try to break the norms, as I was saying earlier, around like the coverage that we provide. Everybody knows about the political stuff that's going on because that is like breaking news 24 hours a day. We cover a little bit of that because we cover it from specific kinds of angles. But this kind of stuff we were talking about, like our last story was about, I know I sent it to you yesterday around the turkey who is this guy's pet in England. And they're just like an inseparable pair.
So cute. Yes, I agree.
How are
Thank
you?
you. And I really appreciate our show because, me, like a lot of other people that really try to preserve their peace, will
Yeah.
not watch the news or listen to the news because
Yeah.
you feel like it robs you of that you don't leave a better person after having
Absolutely.
engaged and spent some of your time. ingesting some of what's being put out. So
Yeah.
yeah, what we're doing today is the opposite. It's where when you leave us today, you're going to end up feeling much better about yourself and about the world.
Right, right. Well, that's what we're doing, and you are a major part of how we do this, along with our other Soulivity collaborators. So thank you for your support in doing this. Um, but let's get back to our hot topics.
Hmm.
Teresa, since we had a story about a pet turkey, I thought it was only appropriate to have a story about a dog, because I love dogs. I love cats too, meaning I know you're on the other side of the veil, so I don't want you to like think that I didn't love you either. But this story, I know, right? I'll wake up and I have a scratch on my face from beyond. This story is really, really special. But let's learn more about it and about this incredible experience at a Michigan nursing home from News Nation.
Well, now to a heartwarming story out of the Detroit area. A dog named Scout repeatedly escaped a shelter and snuck into a nursing home. And now some workers at the facility have officially adopted him. Joining us now is Stephanie Elsey. She is a registered nurse at the center, and Shirley Sawyer, a resident there. Great to have you both. Thank you so much for being here.
Of course. Thank you for having us.
Thank you. Well, we are so excited for this conversation. So can you tell us how this all started?
So he found his way in one night, and a night shift nurse found him curled up on one of the couches in our lobby. And she called the animal shelter because she was very surprised to find him there. And they came over and they got him and they took him back. And he found his way back through our doors 2 more nights during one week's period. So 3 times in a week. Made it pretty apparent that he wanted to be here with us.
Yeah, he just loved being there. So Stephanie, why did the center opt to ultimately adopt him?
I think that they saw his nature and just the fact that he wanted to be here, and our administrator has a pretty soft spot in her heart for animals and decided that he might be a good fit. So we decided to give it a try.
Well, he sounds like a perfect fit. So Shirley, can you tell us what kind of influence Scout has had since he's been there?
Oh, I think he's a calming effect to some of the residents. And he is just so good. He'll follow you around, but he never, what do I say, gets growly or anything like that at the patients. They can pet him and he'll go in their rooms and lay down and stay for a while, and then he'll move on and go to somebody else and see what people are doing. He's just been a real help to people that are away from their families, and the dog gives them a lot of
comfort.
Comfort, yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they really, really like him. And he doesn't. One big thing that I've seen is he don't jump on people. You know, the older people couldn't handle him jumping against them; they'd be falling down. But you can pet him, and he'll either stay or go away. And he's just been a real blessing to the facility.
Oh, this is such a beautiful story. Sounds like a gentle giant. So Stephanie, I have to ask, have you seen a change in mood from some of the residents there, and also who is taking care of Scout while he stays?
Well, I'll tell you what, he makes everybody happy. I just walked through one of our halls where there was a music program going on, and I had him with me, and people just stop. You see smiles just light up their faces. Whether they get to pet him at that time or not, just seeing him seems to bring smiles to faces. So he is taken care of here on Shirley's floor. We have 7 different units here in our facility, and he lives on the unit that Shirley lives on. And he's taken care of by the staff, and he's taken care of by the residents as well, because they feed him, they snuggle him, they give him all the love that he could possibly need.
Oh my goodness, that's so darling. So are there any other animals there, or is Scout the only one?
We have some birds. We have a couple of bird aviaries, and then we have I don't know, a little parrot or cockatiel or something out front that he's a whistler, so we kind of keep him away from Scout. But you know, people love the birds as well, so Scout definitely steals the show, though.
Oh, well, it sounds like such a lovely atmosphere. I'm so happy he's where he belongs. Stephanie Elsey, Shirley Sawyer, thank you so much for joining us.
Aww.
Oh.
It's so cool, right?
I love it. I love it.
Do you have pets? Teresa,
No,
you have
no, I
pets?
grew up.
No.
I grew up on a bit of a mini farm, so I grew up with quite a few pets, like quite a few dogs, quite a few cats. So I had
Mhm.
lots of pets growing up. And so just yeah, when we got married and have kids, then we just decided not to because there's a lot of work involved with pets. A lot
Oh,
of work.
oh yeah. And typically, I'm sure that one of the things that was a decision maker for you was, um, past is prologue, right? So I know when I was growing up, uh, my dad specifically was like, "Oh no, you're gonna take care of this pet."
Yeah.
When I start having to take care of the pet's gone. And
Yeah.
so with Minnie, I became with Minnie, I became the caretaker of her. You
Mhm.
know,
Mhm.
people say, "Yeah, our cat," and I'm like, "Really, really? Yeah, she's our cat technically, but she comes to me to eat. She looks at me with her like litter box was like, she was
Uh-huh.
amazing. She was amazing.
They
But that's
really
cool,
are.
but they give but all pets are unconditionally loving, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
I just
That's so awesome.
marvel at like this dog Scout knew exactly where he needed to be and how he
Mhm.
could be
Mhm.
of service. And the fact that the
Mhm.
residents were saying that, oh, well, he doesn't jump on anybody, he doesn't growl. It's because he's happy.
Mhm. Yeah.
He's happy. He's happy. He's where he's supposed to be. And he's given
Mhm.
that
Mhm.
love to all the residents that are there in this nursing home. You could just see the effect that this pet has had on all of them, including the employees.
Mhm.
Maybe some of them. I heard a little something there when it came to like taking care of Scout, right? Who's actually taking
Mhm.
care of the dog? But all in all, I'm glad that he has a home and that it's all working out for all of them.
Mhm. Mhm.
Wow, such a great story. I had to put that one in here. I was thinking, okay, do we have two pet stories in the same Hot Topics Friday? But you know, whatever. Any takeaways from you that you want to share before we go to break?
No, you mentioned it. This is the unconditional love. And two, in that he knew he needed to be there. Like somehow he managed to sneak out and 3 times find himself in the same place. So
Right.
yeah, and he's just like he fits in perfectly. So it
Wow.
was meant to be.
Well, listen, like I said before, we've got even more of these kind of stories coming up. We got one more last story. That's such a heartwarming one. It it really brings home something special for me that I'll share after the next story. But we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with more of SOULIVITY Today. We'll be right back. SOULIVITY Today is brought to you by Assume control over your weight and broader health with the 80 Bites program by Physical Mind Institute.
For 50 years, we've been told, load up your plate with veggies. Load them up. Because all this spinach, look at it, all the spinach is only 100 calories. But avoid fat because a tiny sliver of butter is also 100 calories. So spinach is good, butter is bad, right? But not today. Now we're told Put butter on everything, even in your coffee. Why? Because fat doesn't spike insulin as carbs do. And stretching the stomach with all those veggies unbalances our digestive hormones. So eat healthy today means fat, fasting, stomach control. Right here's the stomach. Forget calories. Hormones rule, and 80 bites is the solution.
Are you ready to take that first step towards true, unwavering inner happiness? Are you like thousands of people who have everything they need, not want, but need, and still can't seem to find happiness and fulfillment in their lives? If so, the Steps to Happiness show is for you. On my show, you will learn about the principles and practices that lead to true inner happiness. Because guess what? It isn't found in our external environment, but within ourselves instead. Together with my guests, we will explore the latest physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being practices. And together, we'll advise you on the actionable steps you can take towards a happier, more fulfilled, authentic life. So I invite you to join me each week on SOULIVITY TV on the Steps to Happiness show with me, Teresa Greco.
Find all of the Satana products at our Go shop at go.soulivity.com. Hello there. We're back here with more on SOULIVITY Today. Today is our Hot Topic show where we bring you great news stories from around the world that you may not have seen elsewhere. Teresa, you know how important my dad was to me while he was still on this side of the veil. I know that I'm not alone with like friends of mine who have felt the same about their fathers and the stories and the journey that you've taken together. Can you remember one kind of pleasant story that you had with your dad that was like something that kind of carries you into today?
Well, fortunately for me, my father's still alive.
Oh,
So
fantastic.
yeah. So he's still with us. So I carry, memories of when I was still living at home before, I had moved out and started my life with my family. And so
Right.
there isn't, right now there isn't anything, one specific thing. So
Yeah.
I feel like
I
you
rem-
have something you want to share.
Well, there's one story that always sticks with me, and well, it's a couple, but I'll just mention one right now, and that is there was one story where I was going through. It was when I was older, not necessarily when I was a kid, but I was older. I was having a hard time going through one experience. I won't go into all of the sordid details and all that kind of stuff. But he shared with me something that has just stuck with me even to this day. And it was something that his father had told him. And that he said that no matter what you're going through, that or what challenge you're facing, that you'll be okay, that you'll always be okay. And that you just keep in mind that whatever the situation is typically bigger than what it actually is in the eyes of the universe. Like if there's this endless, abundant, prosperous, world and experience in life out here, then whatever you're going through, there's always a solution. And typically it's a solution that is, again, almost like miracle-like, where it was there all along. And so he would say this statement. He'd say, make mountains stepping stones, seize victory from defeat. And to this day, I can see, like, the mountain, when he was saying it, I could see the mountains becoming little stepping stones, right? And that, okay, this is just part of my journey. This is just part of what my experience is. And my fear is making this larger than what it really is. And that this is just a moment in time and that I'm going to be okay. And so I've always kind of kept that with me. And this is kind of related to our last hot topic story, which of course is a heartwarming one coming out of Chicago, Illinois, about a father and a son's journey together. And here's more from WTVR CBS Channel 6.
As a toddler, Reuben Flowers posed with his pilot dad in an airplane. Now, nearly 30 years later, he's posing with his pilot dad again as the first officer on his father's flight, and that caught my eye. Flowers says it was his dream to fly with his dad, and the timing was perfect. He started his career just as his father, also named Reuben Flowers, was nearing retirement as a captain. Thanks to a brief overlap, father and son were able to fly together and recreate that iconic photo on a flight from Omaha, Nebraska to Chicago in the spring. The elder Flowers says seeing his son next to him for his last landing was a dream come true. Also on board that retirement flight, Reuben's senior's brother and his cousin, who also work for Southwest. Flowers says there are 7 pilots total in the family.
Oh my gosh, family tradition.
Oh, I know, that is so cool. And look how little
I know
Reuben Jr. was. He's so tiny.
And they look so great up there together. That's wonderful.
Aww.
Oh.
I know,
Well, Brian,
right?
I want to say thank you for sharing what you did just before you showed the clip. It's a powerful message for everybody to remember. I was like, we're all going through our stuff, and that was really, really great advice and something that you're carrying with you, and now you've shared with all of us as well. So thank you so much. That was really good.
Thanks, Teresa. When I saw this story, and you see the trajectory, right, between this father who is, at the time, my guess is at the time there weren't a lot of Black pilots back then. I mean, I would, when I was a kid, I would take note, like, oh wow, there's a Black pilot, right? And again, very few of them were captains. They were always first officers, and there were very few of them. And so here's a young man who's seeing his father do something, and you're a kid. You don't know the dynamics of what's actually happening in the world at that time until you're much older and you can look back. But here he is, where it's like, oh, well, flying a plane, I can do that. I can do anything that I want to do, right? And to have that experience of, flying alongside your dad. And by the way, that was his last flight as a captain at Southwest. And so he flew his last flight as a captain with his son. And that was his retirement, his flight. And to have the family there and all that. One really quick story before we go to break. My father's last year working for the school system in Detroit, Michigan, where I'm originally from, and where he had worked at for 32 years. His last year, his last major project, I got a chance to work with him on. And so there's this synergy that's there where it was a major project where we were able to raise some, I can't remember the final number, but it was in the tens of thousands of dollars that we raised for Mackenzie High School's marching band that had been invited to come to London, England to perform. They were that good.
Wow.
But they didn't have any uniforms. They didn't have enough uniforms. They didn't have new equipment and all that. And then we did this fundraiser, and my dad and I worked on it, and we raised tons of money about it. And that fundraiser also became his kind of retirement party as well. So I couldn't help but feel connected to this story as the father hands over the baton in terms of piloting to his son, and now, life goes on, and the next generation comes about. So, yeah, fantastic
Beautiful.
story. Yeah,
Beautiful.
yeah. So, what'd you think? What'd you think of our stories today?
Well, I always love our stories. I think you do a great job of selecting just the right ones that are uplifting and heartwarming and bring a tear, depending on which one. I think the dog one, for me, I didn't get to watch the turkey one, but the dog one for sure brought a bit of a tear there. So yeah, always amazing.
Well, listen, this is how we do it here at SOULIVITY Today, everybody. Where every Friday we try to bring hot topics that are going to empower you. From this point on, come back and watch this stuff again. I know I'm going to be watching it again to bring some warmth to my heart when I need it. Listen, we're going to take another quick break. We got more SOULIVITY Today, so stick right there. We'll be back in a couple of minutes.
Hi there, Sheila Applegate here with some exciting news. I've joined the incredible SOULIVITY team as the host of the new Consciously Awesome live show, where I will be sharing insights to help you discover your full brilliance and claim the vibrant life you deserve. So tune in every Wednesday right here on SOULIVITY TV to join the fun, and remember to subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss a single episode. Have an awesome week, and I will see you on Wednesday.
Would you like to be one of the first people to experience mental freedom? Mental freedom is a coaching practice with 6 core principles: improving hope, self-efficacy, optimism, resilience, and general well-being. Mental freedom only takes 6 sessions. It is designed to give you the tools you need to help yourself. It can help with any situation: relationship problems, past trauma, career decisions, parenting challenges, addiction, and mental health concerns. Incorporating the mental freedom framework into your life will deliver an approach to master any situation and a pathway toward achieving inner peace. Mental freedom provides the information and tools that you need to grow and be bigger than anything that ever happens to you. So if you're looking for one-on-one or a group coaching program that will allow you to address any situation that comes up in your life with practical tools to give you more peace and joy, then join the Mental Freedom Program in SOULIVITY's Aspire Academy. There are very limited spots available, so don't delay. I hope to see you there.
Hey, we're back with more of SOULIVITY Today. Really quickly, why don't we get to some shameless plugs? Teresa, we were just talking about your amazing program, 6 Weeks to Mental Freedom. Can you quickly kind of talk about that?
Yes, thank you. I really encourage people to come and take a look because this program gives you the tools you need to help yourself. So we have things that come up all the time that rob us of our mental freedom, things that we're thinking about, lingering on. Maybe it's even things from the past. It is designed to help with any situation that comes up. And so I really encourage you to take a look because this is what is going to bring us to that place of happiness and peace and joy, is that when something comes up, we have a tool that we can apply to bring us to the other side.
I love it, love it, love it, love it. And we just put the link in our chat so that you can learn more about Teresa and mental freedom, which is such a wonderful tool that I think everybody needs to utilize. Also, just want to remind you that coming up on Monday is our very special guest, Asha Rangappa, who is the Associate Dean of Yale University's Jackson School of Global Affairs. She's also a legal contributor to ABC News. We're going to be talking about all things legal, basically kind of navigating the sheer amount of legal news that's happening right now across the United States and the world. I mean, it's just a whole lot. So she's going to be providing like some great insights into all of these different stories. I can't wait to have that conversation. Teresa, you'll be here too to, be part of that conversation as well. Look, really looking forward to that. Woo, it's going to be great.
Yeah, sounds
great.
Sounds interesting.
I just want to remind everybody, while we have time, please follow us on social media, where you can learn more about everything that's going on with SOULIVITY. And as we are going to close, thanks again, Teresa, for being here for our Hot Topics show. Thank you for being here. This is how we do it every single Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. for our live show. You can also listen to us at 8 a.m. Pacific time out on the West Coast on KMET 1490 AM radio in Southern California. Until next time, thanks for being here. Keep learning about your passion, purpose, and create that high quality living. Go visit soulivity.com now. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.
This work is subject to copyright owned by Affinity Global LLC. Any reproduction or republication of all or part of this is expressly prohibited unless Affinity Global LLC has explicitly granted its prior written consent.